Thanks for that. Hi, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm always happy, be it a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. I'm always happy. Welcome to VCTV, Arena and Lewis, and we're expecting few other speakers as well. So, how are you guys? Welcome back on the Asia episode of VCTV. Before I start my usual stuff, I just want to know how was your weekend, Arena?
Doing great. I mean, I did. We went to the farm on Thursday. There was a full moon, so the harvest moon. So, weekends at the farm for me for now, and it's great.
That's good. That's good. Good to hear. Louis, what about you? What did you do
Oh,
over the weekend?
Irina doing the witchy thing, the Halloween thing. All right. Well, everything had a great weekend, thank you, and I hope you had a great weekend as well. Just always putting the work in, trying to change the world as we can. Right, Irina?
Great. I already see team bonding over there. Great. I love it. I'm just missing few for other speakers. I hope they're gonna show up later.
We're fine. We can handle this. Don't worry about it.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, great. Now we are set. We are running slightly late, which is all okay, which is cool. We're under control. Today's topic is about investments into green energy, sustainable energy, and obviously impact investments that we discussed on our Friday panel as well, exclusively on impact investments. So I love this topic because it's the need of the hour. As we all know, we need to know what's happening, how to have a sustainable economy going forward. When another pandemic hits the world, what are the governments doing to be ready for that? Okay, so VCTV is a platform where we connect investors like yourselves with some great startups who are looking for help in terms of raising funds, advice, mentorship, and lots of other things. Gain traction, scale up their business, and everything else that comes with investments. So today's panel, we are ready to rock, ready to start. Before that, let me introduce myself. For those audience who are watching me for the first time on this show for the first time, my name is Sunny Mohanty. I'm the Regional Director of LATOKEN, and I'm based here in Singapore, and I host and moderate the Asia panels of VCTV. So today we have two fantastic speakers, veteran speakers from the West, from the US, Louise and Irina. I'd like to start with the lady first. She looks different today. Louise, I hope you don't mind, okay? Cool. Ciao. Okay, Irina, welcome back to VCTV. Please help introduce yourself to those who do not know you, may not know you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. It's a pleasure to be back here. I love this. I love being able to log in first thing in the morning and do this. It's so important that we do it right now. My name is Irina Litchfield. Many know me as a crypto superwoman. I am founder of Blockchain Cubed, which is blockchain integration company. So we design architecture mainly for finance. And I'm a president of Lumeria. Lumeria is where capital meets innovation. Our goal is to democratize opportunities and investments and bring back small market cap and, make sure that we have a global liquidity for investors and empower entrepreneurs. I'm also advisor for Space Fund, I'm founding advisor on a global securities exchange, Med Network, and ProChain Capital.
Wow, what a portfolio, so many things. Thank you. Welcome back, Rina. Okay, Louis, I actually wanted to start the session by breaking a news. I have a founder from the US who was looking after you, who was looking for you, sorry, in the sense of not after you, sorry, was asking about you. So we have a potential company that you might explore. So please.
Well, they can reach out as long as they don't stalk me. We don't want that. I get enough of that, but let me give you the skinny on myself really quick. I've been in finance for over a quarter century, been involved in technology longer than that. And I am, we're involved in artificial intelligence, AR, VR, and blockchain technology and a few other areas. I am also the CEO of Megahoot, which we're in, some of our brands include Vero Hive, Secure Hive. Gary, you come in late. Secure Hive, okay, School Hive, and a few other platforms that we had that are existing today that are involved in AI collaboration, video conferencing, and so on and so forth. And also, we have something really interesting that we give out for small businesses free, and that's the social distance monitor that allows any business to incorporate that in their IP camera system, and it can measure the distance between people, mass detection, counting how many people are in there, and it helps for them to comply with social distancing guidelines. Just want to throw all that in there before I forget.
Wow, a lot of stuff coming from there as well. Thank you,
Yep.
Luis. Oh, okay, finally we have Gary. I think Gary, it's your second time on the Asia panel of VCTV. Welcome, Gary. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am fantastic. I'm great. Happy Monday. How do I
Well,
look?
thank you very much.
So welcome back. I think I had spoken with you before on the Asia panel, if I can remember. So just for our Asia audience, I mean, obviously this is a global sort of session, but just for the Asia startups, can you please help introduce yourself and the company you represent?
Do you want me to, are we live right now?
Yes, actually we are. Yes, we are.
Oh, cool. Well, hi, everybody. It's good to see you. My name's Gary Fowler, and I'm a serial entrepreneur and investor. I've done 15 companies. I've been doing startups for over 30 years. In fact, David Yang is my partner in Eva, which is near unicorn status. It's close to $1 billion company. Today, I started it almost 4 years ago. Click Software, which was a company that was from Israel, brought over to the US. I was on the original team, sold 13 months ago for $1.35 billion. My background is AI. I've written almost 80 articles on artificial intelligence in the last year. I have a show, well, actually a week and a half ago, I had Guy Kawasaki on my show. And we talk about the future of technology. Specifically, we're using Silicon Valley as a port to the rest of the world. So it doesn't matter where the company's from. We use that because 50% of the capital is still located there. So I love artificial intelligence, and I'm particularly interested in motion AI and unsupervised artificial intelligence. And I'm looking for those cool companies from everywhere. Thank you.
Wow, good to know. So Gary, where are you dialing in from today? Just Israel? Or?
Well, no. Normally I am in Silicon Valley. I have a house in Silicon Valley, but right now I'm close to the beach in Palm Beach, Florida. So literally 4 blocks from me is Bill Gates. So his house is very close to where I am right now.
Wow.
And Steve Jobs' wife is across the street. So it's a funny world, right? Here, the biggest competitors, and they're down the street. So it's interesting.
And if I can tap into this, I need to say that Gary, aka Mr. Forbes Fowler, he is the godfather of AI. I just wanted to throw that in there and make you smile, Gary.
I feel like Don Corleone of AI now.
There you go. You're the godfather.
Great. I'm loving this panel. East meets West. Basically, I'm based in Singapore, as all of you know, and today I have a very American sort of panel, which is great, which is good. And yeah, so on that note, I'm going to start with questions, the burning questions around sustainability, impact investments, and green energy investments. So I'd like to start with Irina. Irina, what's the trends? What's happening in the sustainability space with regards to startups, governments, investors? What's happening? I hear a lot, but just want your perspectives.
Yes. So the first thing is clear, and I've been saying it over and over and over again that sustainability is the wrong term that we're using. I spent 2 hours yesterday on this network, on a call of global network of people that are, bringing solutions in sustainability and building, building kind of a decentralized network. And one most important message across the whole border from all countries was that it is very confusing and people don't really understand what sustainability means And when they use that term, there's kind of really wide range of what that means to them. So I think that that is definitely clear. I think that regenerative word is better for that, but I'm not 100% married to it. I think it's just kind of, it is a little bit more clear to what we're doing. I think one of the things that we are seeing, I am glad to see that. And yesterday was clear to me on that, is that people are starting to understand that it is confusing and it is misleading too. And so I like to see us move away from sustainability and move into regenerative. And I like that for several reasons. One of the most important reasons is that we try to build sustainable, and we always have done that. And we live now in a world that is outdated because we've used to build sustainable, right? We and what we build now is also going to be outdated very fast, probably way faster than what we've built, 70 years ago. So innovation is moving all around us, reintegrating, and things moving forward. I really appreciated what Keith said, that finally we have measurings of what what is that sustainability means. And we're getting to a point to where it is now a key to where investors want to see and measure the impact that companies are doing, right? Even if you are a finance company, you need to show how do you benefit the world, how do you make the world better. It's kind of like one of the measuring matrix for now. So we definitely are pulled into a pressure to where we care about food, water, and air now, things that most people did not care about only a couple of years ago. It is definitely something that is of a big value. And so that's a good thing. And the money is finally being deployed, right? So in bettering our environment is something that matters for everybody all over the world. And so that is great. And the money is being deployed. And we have about 6 weeks before money is going to slow down, because I do believe that we will go to the point to where, Wednesday before Thanksgiving, if you didn't close your deals, go and take a rest. So I don't think that we'll see much funding past Thanksgiving, but I might be wrong.
Wow, 6 weeks. Wow, great. Thank you, Rena. Thank you for your insights. Really interesting. I'd like to hear Luis's perspectives as well, because he was on a panel on impact investments. But here we're talking about sustainability. As Reina just introduced a new term, just for my knowledge, I've seen her blogs, but regenerative investments. Then people just say socially responsible investments as well, and we have impact investments as well. So Luis, can you please give us a perspective about these sort of terminologies that have been there, but what's happening right now with the pandemic still lurking around, and we've long way to go. What's your perspectives?
Well, I think a lot of acronyms and taglines and names have been thrown out there, and that happens in finance a lot. They want to come up with names for things, but the reality is, impact investing means a lot of things. You can be impactful in a lot of things that you do. Technology is the industry that's going to have the most impact, because this is the future. Technology companies have the ability to promote growth in inner cities and urban areas. They have the ability to train people and create situations where they can actually go and create skilled labor. Okay, and in technology, I mean, they have this ability now. As far as green investing, things of that nature, the environment's very important. We have one planet. Even though Elon Musk thinks we have a billion of them, but we have one planet and we need to take care of it. And and the green investing, just because you say, hey, you're doing some green investing and you're trying to do better for the world, doesn't mean you can't make money. You have to make that part sustainable. You need to sustain the company and have it grow and have it be dynamic so it can grow, in order for you to take the money to do more good. So when people look at it and they think that, hey, we're doing something good, but we're not gonna go and make money because society says we can't make money. That's
Right.
baloney. You need to make money in order to make things happen. If alternatively, you're dependent on the government, on the subsidies from the government, and if that's the case, then you can't you can't bring the truth to the table. Where you can actually have the most impact. And I'm sure Gary has a lot to say on this topic, because he's involved in this as well, and we kind of see eye to eye in a lot of areas. So I'm going to pass the ball to you, Gary.
Sure. Thank you, Louis. Gary, over to you.
So let's paint the picture, Sonny. Look at the world the way it is today. In the last 100 years, the population of planet Earth has grown 4 times. We've got close to 7.9 billion people. And for folks in China that are here, about 1.4 billion in China. Think about the challenges that we have.
Right.
At the beginning of the pandemic, when the pandemic started, shortly thereafter, it was the first time we've seen the Himalaya mountains in 30 years. We've got some serious challenges ahead of us. So what are the things that we have now? I'm just a country boy from Pennsylvania. I grew up a mountain, although I lived in Russia 14 years, and I still spend a lot of my time in Central Asia and Russia. So look at the world that we have. We have challenges: food, non-potable water, the water that we drink. We've got challenges because we need to be able to have more water that's drinkable, potable water. So how do we do that? The desalinization of water is one thing. So that's an issue. Food production, getting enough food, right? Being able to level the playing field. So we've got better food production in all kinds of different ways, where it's 3D printed meat. I mean, technologies that we had better get in shape now, because these issues are going to come on very, very quickly. And they're already happening today. So then the situation with water. I'll give you, for instance, right now I'm sequestered in Florida. But if you look at the amount of change that's taken place, we're going up. The water table around the planet Earth, because of the melting of the caps, has gone up dramatically, right? So what is it, 8 inches in the last 30 years in Florida? Now you say, well, that's not a lot. It's a whole lot. Now, it's when there's only 3 feet above sea level in Florida, right? You got for 2099, it's projected that the average water table will be up 26 inches, 26. Wow. So we need to, and of course, Elon Musk, Lewis said the right kind of point. There are 6 billion Earth-like planets in the Milky Way galaxy. And it's estimated, based on my astronaut friend, Christopher Alton, recently told me that my figures would need to be up there. There are 200 trillion galaxies like Earth. Like the Milky Way. So we've got a lot of challenges. So how do we solve these issues? Think about it. It used to be when we get plastic, we would throw it away. And I remember Arena in one of our last sessions said that there's serial numbers on plastics now. So it's not only the kind of plastic that you have, it's actually which way it needs to be recycled. But it's a problem. I mean, I don't know if you're like me, but when I get plastic's plastic. If I see a bottle or a container, it's all the same. We need to be better at how to identify where to throw it, because being able to recycle, it used to be we had a dispose mentality. Let's just throw it away and forget about it. But it can't be like that anymore. We've got to recycle and repurpose. For instance, one of the startups is taking recycled plastic and turn it into timber, right? So you can use it for things like timber, for things like boardwalks, right? Things like back porches, where you want to have a back porch. So we need to start to repurpose better. The other thing is energy from battery technologies. I just had a meeting with one of the largest energy company in the United States, actually. So one of the challenges, one is the grid is outdated, the electric grid. We need to use artificial intelligence for optimization, how to optimize the grid around the world, right? Grids are outdated. Update the grid. The other thing is battery technology. As you know, battery technology changes. They say there's about a 30% increase every year. So things like lithium fluoride, chemical batteries, that are 6 times last longer than a lithium ion. Those
Right.
kind of technologies are important. We gotta think about where our planet's going to be. California has just come up with a mandate that all vehicles, I think it's 2035, have to be electric vehicles.
Right.
Right? Those kind of things are important. So, you know, and I'm a man of the world. I'm Greek, Egyptian, German, grandparents from Egypt and Greece, and lived in Russia 14 years, went to school in Russia, university myself. So, you know, these are the problems that all of us have to tackle. And it's not going to go away. So we need to be very proactive and going at it. And we need to understand that each one of us has a responsibility. So startups in your audience that are looking at those technologies, any way you can weave artificial intelligence in there is really cool, because there's so much data. We need to figure out how to solve it faster. So, and then computer vision to be able to analyze plastic. Where do we throw it, right? Well, it's not just one bin for plastic. You know, there's probably 10 bins that should go in. But how do we make that better? How do we process the plastic better so we put it all in the right place and it can be recycled? So those are the challenges. In food, you know, food production. We've got to increase our yield on food, and we've got to do that sooner. Technologies, for instance, I just looked at a technology that is with self-driving tractors to make it more efficient to be able to farm, right? Because it's a pain to go out and farm. Well, imagine tractors that are now self-driving. They're a lot more efficient and a lot more accurate than any human could ever be. So anyhow, that's my take. And impact, are you talking about impact from a society standpoint or impact from a sustainability endpoint?
So today's topic is more on sustainability. So we can.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, that's where, you know, every VC that out there that's worth their weight is looking at sustainability. They're looking at impact investing because they know these are challenges. You know, whenever you're doing, I talked to Bob Dorff a lot and Steve Blank that wrote the book, The Startup Owner's Manual. And one of the things, these are pressing problems that need to be solved. It's not like, well, I don't know, maybe I'll create a startup and here's something it could be. These are problems that we all have today that need to be resolved.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Gary, for those insights. So AI startups who are actually tuned in today and listening to us, Gary covers a large scope of areas: plastic recycling, energy, battery technology, electric vehicles, food, and farming. Thank you, Gary, for that.
Sure.
So next, interesting. I like the way it's going now today. So thank you for that. So I'd like to, just in continuation with what Gary mentioned, I just want to ask Irina, what are the drivers that impact? What are the drivers in impact or sustainable investments? Obviously, Gary has given us some pointers. We'd like to know your thoughts as well on that.
So we need to think about the measurements basically of what, you know, how do we measure the impact, right? Because there's a long-term impact that is hard to measure, and then there's a short-term impact. So how do we capture carbon is very important. You know, we can capture it in the air, and then we can actually trap it back into the earth. That works really great. Loss of a topsoil is really big problem. It's problem that we do not really speak about, but it's causing a lot of problems, and civilizations on our planet have went extinct several times because of, you know, over farming. And so we're kind of getting to a point where we are over farming. For example, water problem can be fixed through increase of a topsoil, because basically what happens is that as you lose the topsoil, as you lose biodiversity in the topsoil, you lose the absorption of the water, and so it ends up just kind of washing off, and it just washes off. The water goes, it takes the topsoil, and then it just washes into the ocean, and that's what we kind of experiencing right now. So regenerative farming is very, very popular. The reason it's popular is because it allows you to increase the biodiversity of the land. It allows you to have kind of a different verticals of a food production. So it allows you to measure how much carbon you are trapping. It allows you to demonstrate how much you're increasing biodiversity, because we can test all that thing. It improves air quality. It improves water quality because of the absorption, and then it is also includes the food production, right? So air, water, and food are the key. A lot of money, a lot of people are trying to figure out right now, how do we scale regenerative farming? And, you know, how do we deploy $1 billion in, you know, and support it is a big question right now. And we do not have the answers for that yet, but there are proposed solutions. Also, I would really like to add to what Gary was saying about Gary and Luis, you know, about kind of the models. I want to add to it, models of fundraising, right? So right now, every single entrepreneur, when they are looking at bringing solution to the world, right? We have two types of entrepreneurs, I believe. We have a profit-driven entrepreneurs, and we have cause-driven entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Both of those usually are forced into a for-profit model because non-profit is broken. It's just broken. It's like a soul-sucking. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're an entrepreneur who has a vision to bring a cause-specific solution to the world, unless you have very wealthy backing, nonprofit is going to be just terrible. I mean, as I interview people that are running nonprofit organizations, they're just so sad and broken. You know, they're just so abused, and it's just a terrible world. So one of the things that we can do now is basically use blockchain technology to allow them to actually go ahead and go into a nonprofit structure, because you see a lot of those entrepreneurs are not driven by profit. They're not aligned, okay, with what they're doing. And so they're kind of sitting there and looking, okay, do I go for profit and I sell my soul to devil, which what they think, right? Now, money is not evil. Money is just an energy. How you deploy it is what it is. It's up to you. It's a great thing, and we need it to do wonderful things. Or they go into nonprofit, but it's a challenging thing. And so it's this divide. You can actually do a cost-specific offering using a smart contract. You can, you know, define into a smart contract and deploy as you need and as you must, and you can actually see the cause, you know, kind of the impact coming through that. So I think we're going to see quite a bit of that, kind of the division of entrepreneurs who are for-profit driven and who are non-for-profit driven. And those who are non-for-profit driven, I believe that they will start utilizing blockchain technology very, very soon, because it's just a simple thing. Anyone can write their smart contract. You don't have to be a programmer to do that. So I'm seeing a lot of that. And then again, regenerative farming is very popular right now. A lot of money is going into it. It's profitable, and we can measure it. Yesterday, when I was on a call, somebody proposed, they showed the picture of this like shoes made out of tennis balls. I don't know how comfortable they are, but that was their solution as a visual for that regenerative kind of a regenerative systems, right? How do we take what we have and turn it into something else? And there's a lot of money in it now. So a lot of established, big, huge companies are looking at that. You know, if I'm a shoe company, you know, how do I make sure that I show that we are reusing things, so we're not printing something new, right? The cotton shirts, we harvest cotton. We make cotton. We print a bunch of shirts. Okay, nobody buys those shirts because it was a terrible design decision, and then they just rotten there in the factories, right? And then they just end up in a landfill somewhere.
Okay, great. Aruna, some great insights there. So just let me just summarize the key points. So entrepreneurs who are in the non-profit sector, don't be disappointed. As Aruna rightly said, obviously you need to make money. I mean, it's difficult to scale and sustain without money. So you can write your own smart contract, and a lot of money now getting pumped into these kind of sectors and these kind of startups. Please remember that. And regenerative farming is another area which is profitable and measurable as well. And a lot of investments are flowing into that sector as well. So those are two key points from Marina. Thank you so much. Great. So who do we have next? Luis. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, I have a lot to say now. I love Irina's point.
Go get him, Louis.
I'm gonna get him, Gary. I got some stuff for you too. Look, Irina, you mentioned metrics. I think metrics are important. That brings us the data sets that we need to make things better. Okay, if we don't have the data, okay, it's hard, to incorporate the AI, the machine learning, and do all this stuff that we need to do. Gary made mention of recycling plastics. I think recycling is very important, especially with plastics, because this is a man-made material, right? So that you have to go and utilize this in order. You have to recycle it in order to keep it going. Because like one thing that we're involved with, we have composite material that we utilize to making composite wood, composite bricks, cinder blocks, building materials, things of that nature. This stuff makes, if done the right way, you're actually making, housing that can be recycled. Let's say something happens, an earthquake, a fire, you can take all of these materials and you can recycle them and continue to do it. There's no waste. Okay, and then you have net zero standards that are being adhered to. All this stuff helps the environment. All this stuff helps Mother Earth, and that's what we need to do. Irina was talking about nonprofits. Okay, yeah, nonprofits, they, it's a tricky situation, slippery slope, because a nonprofit traditionally, you go donate money and this is what they do. They go and whatever they do, they're not generating money from. Okay. And the reality is they can go and do things that are for profit, but as long as they're deploying, I think, and Gary can correct me on this, I think it's 95% of what comes in, as long as they deploy it into what they're doing and redeploy it each and every time. You're talking about nonprofits that can continue to grow and grow and grow and grow. Okay. And if they're doing good things, then they can continue to do these good things and maybe invoke change on the rest of the planet. The correlation between profit and cause and this and that, the bottom line is you can go and do good things and you can profit from it and you can make things work. Okay. And the nonprofits, status of a company, it just says they have to go, they're not supposed to be earning money. That's not the case. They can go and make money. They just have to deploy this whatever profits, whatever they have coming in, they need to deploy it into what they're doing. And again, Gary can correct me on that. I think that's pretty much how it works. And I think that more companies need to think bigger picture. Okay. And incorporating, artificial intelligence, incorporating, computer vision, machine learning, incorporating these things into what the next phase is going to be is important. Agriculture, it's important. Having these these autonomous machines doing things and basically in tune to the weather, that they won't spray water if there's raining and that type of thing. All this stuff is important, and it's going to get more enhanced as we move along. And on that note, I'll pass it to you, Sonny, so you can make your comments.
Thank you, Luis. I agree. I mean, you just covered, obviously extend into what Arina just touched upon. I mean, you asked Gary a question, so I'm going to move to Gary now about nonprofits. So, Gary, what are you going to, because you're a serial entrepreneur and you have huge experience. Let's talk about nonprofit startups. What do you think what are the challenges do you see around them, as Arina rightly mentioned? And what do you think they should be doing besides writing their own smart contracts? What else can they do to scale and survive and sustain?
Well, I mean, the situation is, so, I have a basic philosophy. Even on the impact side, we're building $100 million fund that focuses on the Black community, actually. And I've been
Right.
doing this for 12 years. If they can justify what the bottom line will be, right, what the impact's going to be, then I think it's really good. But a lot of times what happens with nonprofits and not-for-profit is that they don't show really what the impact's going to be. They're just coming out and they come out for handout, essentially, entitlement, and not what the impact's going to be. And if you start to talk to any CEO of a company and you come up with a business case of what kind of impact, whatever you're going to be doing, whether it's sustainability, working with the farming community, working with conservation, fish, Larry Page's brother, Carl, is working on salmon, Larry Page from Google.
Right.
And we've had deep discussions about this, right? As salmon not coming back upstream from the ocean and spawning, and it's really screwed up the supply. So if you can talk about what does that mean? Well, there's going to be this much less fish and this much, this amount of people aren't going to have food in this particular region during this time. And you can quantify it and then look at how much lost revenue there's going to be. All of a sudden, their eyes wide open. Always, always, always tie it back to a business case. And then, the thing today, Sonny, I just want to say it's called take, make, and dispose is what our mentality has been.
Right.
The mentality really needs, as Irina has said, take, make, and regenerate.
Right.
And so that's where this whole thing with tennis balls, recycling plastics into shoes and everything else, it just needs to be, we're not going to be around, right? Look in the future, look 100, 150 years from now. We will be highly overpopulated. There won't be enough land. The waters will be up 2.5, 3 feet worldwide with a huge impact. We need to take care of the future generations now. And oh, by the way, I worked on a project at Stanford, living to 120. We're going to start living a lot longer. It's going to be in your lifetime, right? So, unless you don't want to buy a place at the beach, you better fix it.
Right. Great. So Gary, do you have anything else to add?
No, I just think, from my standpoint, I mean, those startups, I applaud every one of them. They're amazing, but make sure you talk about what financial impact you're going to have. Don't just come up with, this is what we're going to do. We're going to save the fish. There's less mercury in the water. What does that mean to society? And what kind of impact? So I love the story. I love the nonprofits, but tie it back to what kind of impact you're going to have.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I mean, startups in nonprofit, please show measurable, quantifiable impacts, which ties back to the business case. That's the big takeaway. Take, make, and regenerate. Am I correct?
Yeah, I got to regenerate just now from Irina. I used to say take, make, and recycle, but I liked Irina's better.
Yeah. Great. Awesome. Okay, great. So I just want to know from Rena, we come back in a circular loop. What are the investment products that we are gravitating towards besides, because you touched upon regenerative farming, is there anything that post-pandemic we should be, focusing on investment products?
Yes. So when it comes to farming, basically, one of the hot things I think that is needed there, and we really, it's almost like at the fingertip, and there are a couple of companies that are doing that. Is AI basically? So using AI for us to analyze the data that we gather on the farm. We need to be able to do it, and it actually starts with drones, because drones are extremely useful for farming. It allows us to be able to, scan, first of all, check our land daily, right? And if you're a small farmer and if you're tiniest farmer and you have 100 acres, if you're a small farmer and you have a section, which is about 500 acres, and if you're a regular farmer who, has 1,000 sections,
Right.
that's a lot, or, 100 sections. So opportunities are very, very high. The kind of, how do we analyze it? The tools that allow farmers to be able to basically do analysis at home. Because right now you gather your land, you send it to the lab, it takes like, I don't know, who knows how long, and then you get it back. And so there's a big opportunity in actually bridging that, right? And allowing farmers to give them the power, to give them ability to kind of be connected and understand what they're doing is making change. Now, to increase biodiversity in land, it takes years. It's not something we can do very, very fast. But I mean, 10 years, guys. In 10 years, you can make magic happen, and that's wonderful. I would like to add to what Gary said with nonprofits. It's true, there are really, so nonprofits are, and Louis too, they are often are very big, and that's one of the problems that we're seeing, and that's why a lot of people also do not donate, right? Because we do not see, when I donate, are you going to pay a salary to a huge executive who is, you know, sitting there and just having their money are not deployed where they say they deployed? That is the regular conception that we here in America have about what happens in nonprofits, right? What I like about cause-specific offering is that it allows you to write in a smart contract, finite project outcome, right? That means that you actually have to describe what is the cause that you are bringing solution to. It has to have an outcome and deadline, because you have to actually close, right? So, and I'll give you two examples. One, it can be like a local playground project, right? So it is just, let's say moms get together and say, we need this beautiful way to have a new way to have playground and experience for our children. And they went and talked to the park and the city, and then they're like, okay, we have this now, how do we get the money for it, right? So they can go and write in a smart contract that, okay, we will spend this money on materials, it will cost this money for us to hire the, you know, to hire people to do this, we have this. So they go to their local community and also not local community, and through the smart contract they raise, right? The beauty of the smart contract is that in a soft cap, there's small soft cap and a hard cap. So soft cap allows you to basically deploy just a basic, right, of the project, and then a hard cap allows you to make it exactly how you want it. So if you do not get to soft cap, the money is just returned back to the wallet. And I think that's how we're going to leave. I believe we're going to have our wallets, and you're going to have color tokens, and you're going to share with each other, profit or for nonprofit. And I'm going to share with you guys and be like, oh, here, I'll send you, check out my you know, the causes that I support. So that's a small scale, and a big scale is a moon. How do we, as a global society, go to the moon? And again, this is a measurable impact. People are running to the moon right now. Now there's supposed to be no land grab. It's supposed to belong to nobody, but you know, people are gonna get there, they're gonna put their stakes, they're going to start mining for ice, and then they're going to keep racing to go to the, you know, they're gonna keep racing to go to the Mars, and then they're going to go to asteroids. Who is going to represent us, regular humans, here on Earth? When decisions are being made between those people who are sitting at the moon round table and deciding what are they going to do, right? Very important topic to think about it. Well, it turns out we just need $1 billion, because now there's a big companies, there's a lot of money being invested, a lot of it being tested, but we're getting to a point to where we can actually start, you know, using other services to get ourselves to the moon. So we can do that for $1 billion very easily. There's a group of people that already kind of put this project together. Nobody's attached to it, right? Nobody wants anything from it. Maybe you get paid a little bit of money, which goes into the smart contract. But how do we actually go and get that $1 billion? That's a cause-specific offering, right? It allows us to go into the moon and nominate through rules on a smart contract to have somebody through specific governance to sit at the table. Maybe 1% every year, or however it works. these are all measurable ways you can change the view on a nonprofit, right? Because you have to have end to your project.
Right.
So that's, you know, that's where I'll finish, and I would love to see your comment.
Yeah, Irina, I think this is very helpful for startups in the nonprofit, because obviously there has been challenges for them to prove the impact. Because I read somewhere, obviously I have seen, like, it's difficult to measure impact when investors are looking to invest into impact or sustainable projects. It's difficult, but I think smart contract blockchain technology solves it. Single source of truth, transparency, and traceability. Right? Excellent. Startups in a nonprofit. Here you go. The answer. Thank you. I'll have a question for Luis. I have a question for Luis and Gary. What do impact investors look for now in this? Because in the pandemic world and the post-pandemic world, what are they going to look for?
What they're looking for profits. You know, that's the reality of it. They're looking for scalability. They're looking for situations that are going to put money in their pockets. Okay, but I think in the real world, you know, you have to look at, you know, Irina made a lot of good points with nonprofits. I'm glad she said it and I didn't say it. You know, you have nonprofits that have a cause and they're out there, and Gary mentioned it too. You're going, you're looking for donations. Okay, that's great. You're looking for donations and tax deductible, you know, donations for your nonprofit, for you to do whatever it needs to get done. I believe that inherently everyone that's doing it has a good, is coming from the heart. They're looking to invoke some sort of change. The problem is they're not looking at it as a business. You have to have that business plan. Is how are you going to go and make more money? Why do some nonprofits do a lot better than others? Okay,
Right.
I mean, like the Girl Scouts, what do? They sell cookies. Okay, in the United States, they sell cookies. So they're getting it at whatever cost. They're selling it for a high premium. They're taking that money and they're reinvesting into what they're doing. And the
Right.
Girl Scouts of America, they are a nonprofit organization, but they're
Right.
making money. They have a big building in New York City. It's ridiculous, but they have everything moving in that path. So I think nonprofits have to look at what they have, okay, and look at how are you going to go and make money so you can invest more into what you do and be less reliant on donations and more self-reliant on your nonprofit. And if you can do that, then I think a lot of good courses are going to come out of it. And I think, Irina, with blockchain, it's interesting because if you can go and incorporate that, you know, it has, and I need to say this, blockchain, cryptocurrency, two different things. Don't, just separate them. The blockchain to go and monitor, let's, you know, whatever donations you made are good for you because people know, you know, irrefutably that this is what the nonprofit is doing. This is how you donated to it, and so on and so forth. And also for tax purposes, you have proof of what you did. You know, but I think a lot of this stuff should come together. I'm going to pass the ball to Gary because if I keep going, I'm not going to stop.
No worries, Luis. Thank you so much. Gary, over to you now that Luis has passed it on.
So, I mean, the fundamentals. So just let's look at it. If you're going to go out and you want to create a nonprofit and you've got a particular goal or objective, think about it. And again, it's a KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. So what would you do? So you would find somebody that's championing the cause wherever, in whatever country you're in. So China, Southeast Asia, Central Asia, somebody that really champions the cause. For instance, the Pritzker family champions a lot of cause. Pritzker Hyatt Hotel family champions a lot of causes. Bill Gates and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Find people that can champion the cause. Then what I do is you want to take one of those persons and try to convince them to be on your board of advisors, right? On the board of the company, because what that does is gives you a stamp of approval. And if you got them to buy off on it, how many people do you think that are high net worth that they know or groups that they know that they can refer you to? You want a friendly, warm introduction. And now we are still in the middle of this COVID pandemic. We probably have 1.5 to 2 years to go. It's going to be as soon as people think, unless there's a vaccine, but they've been working on an AIDS vaccine for 30 years, right? So, and so embrace the digital transformation, just like you're doing now here, Sonny, to go down through and understand that we can communicate, but and we don't have to be there in person, and we can get our messages out. So I would go down through, find somebody that can champion the cause. That'll help. Make sure that you got a team in place that'll actually relate to the problem. You know, if you've been doing manufacturing and jump into, you know, save the world with fisheries, you want to make sure that you find people that have that kind of background that can be part of the team, because when you win, you need the credibility today.
Yeah.
So, and as we had said before, make sure that the plan you pay, because you need to get corporates on board too. You need to make sure, one is you get to the right people in those corporations. By the way, that advisor, if you pick that person wisely, her or him, can really help you do that. Those warm introductions you need to get to those folks. And it's just like raising money, quite frankly. You know, it's a business is a contact sport game. You just need to have warm introductions, and you need to have, you know, friends. And the other thing is, as I said, your plan needs to take in place. What is it going to mean for that company? It's great that those companies will buy off on it because it's the right thing to do. But when you go all said and done, they're about making money. What kind of impact are you really going to have, and show them what it's going to be? And if you do that, you got the right team, you got the right messaging going out, you got the right advisors as part of the team, your probability of winning is much, much higher. And it's a problem that everybody can feel. You want to make it so that when you talk about it, that the people can feel your words. And if they feel your words and you can describe it, you win.
Absolutely. It's very important to feel the words. Absolutely, Gary. I like the KISS principle, by the way. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for adding those. So championing the cause, the people who are championing the cause, people with obviously relevant experience, the corporation, the corporates on board as an advisor, and warm introductions are some of the points that Gary highlighted today for those nonprofits who are looking to raise funds. Thank you so much, Gary. I'm just conscious of the time, 5 more minutes, but if I could, I just, you know, have another hour of all of you, because, you know, this doesn't end. I was talking to Louis, like he's been on our panels like every day last week, but this never ends. I mean, I just enjoy so much listening to you guys, so much insight, so much information. Just can't let go of you. But unfortunately, we have to. Before we go, this has been a very American panel with an Asian host. I mean, I'm based in Asia, that's why. So we'd like to know closing remarks from you, Gary, and because you are the regular speaker on VCTV, there must be a reason why you come back. So we'd like to know, and also let our viewers know, what's that in for the investor like yourself that you come back on VCTV?
Well, because, you know, GSD, my company, Get Shit Done Venture Studios, curates the best AI companies in the world. So we're always looking for the best AI companies. We've done, you know, a lot of people talk about unicorns, Sonny, but I've done too. And so we don't care where they're from. As I said, I lived in Russia. I still go to Russia and spent half of last year in Russia myself and Central Asia. So I'm there myself. And I believe that those companies exist and they're in your audience today. The challenge is they don't have a way to be able to connect to the rest of the world. And just like I said, for you in terms of, you know, the advisors, the former chief security officer of Apple's on my board, the former chief operating officer of Walmart, some really well-known folks. And what we can do is, the reason the VCTV is important, because as this COVID has really hit us all, it gives us a chance and a platform to reach the rest of the world. And you're doing an incredible job doing it. So, you know, hats off to you. And I think that this is the way it's going to be for quite some time. And in fact, it will continue this way with other technology to make it even more personal. So it's great.
Excellent, excellent, Gary. Thank you so much. It's all about connection. It's all about network. I mean, that's Gary just nailed it down. Thank you, Gary, for those comments. Arena, same to you. I mean, I know you love the VCTV. You start your day at 7 a.m. on VCTV. So please, besides a thumbs up.
Yes, connection. To me, that's really important. I agree with what Gary said. It's, you know, to me, it's very important that we reach out and we embrace the digital our new more digital lives than we ever thought. It's still, when I think about what's going on, I don't think I fully still grasp of what we are living through right now. We're going to look back in a couple of years and just, wow, I think we're still settling into full comprehension. What does this true digital integration and integration of innovation means for us? And it's so important to be able to stay in touch, and to continue conversations. One of my favorite things to do in the past world was to travel globally, speak thought leadership. I love thought leadership, and then connect with people afterwards. And there are key people that throughout years, when you kind of continue these conversations, and it seemed like every single time we see each other, things move. And so we evolve these conversations and we learn about the world through these conversations, not through news, but through conversations. You know what projects are coming in, you know who is deploying what, you're kind of inside of it. And most importantly, if you're a thought leader, you're staying on top of the topic and you see how things evolve. When it stopped, it just kind of went away, right? Our productivity, for me and for people in my world, increased dramatically. So like the things I am able to get done, like unbelievable, because there's no more trouble. But that connection, that ability to really know, kind of disappeared. And VCTV to me is that every single time on every single episode, there's that just something new that comes in, right? And I think it's so important that we empower each other, that we empower other investors and other entrepreneurs to stay and embrace this transformation, because it is inevitable. And to me, that's what this channel it really became a network and almost a family. I feel so dearly connected to you, Gary, and to you, Louis, and to you, Sonny, and so many other speakers, right? There's people that, and I kind of start to understand how you think. We keep going into depth of seeing how our specific industries integrate with each other. And to me, on my mission to change and evolve global capital markets, I mean, that's what really drives me, right? This is very important, because connecting investors and giving investors liquidity and saving our collapsing small market cap class of companies is really important to me. And this is the best way I found, the most effective way I found, that I am able to do that.
Excellent words. I mean, I totally vouch on whatever you said that. I mean, I just on the same wavelength as you. Thank you so much, Irina. Conscious the time. Louis, your closing remarks and
Look, Irina almost brought a tear to my eye, but not quite. But I echo the words of Gary and Irina. With this current environment, for me, time is the most precious commodity that I have. And if this was something that was an in-person situation, I would not be able to attend. I have other things that are highly important to me that I need to focus on. So I can't go and disappear for 2-3 days to go to a conference. So having VCTV and doing this, it becomes an important avenue, an important vehicle for people to connect with people normally they wouldn't see or they wouldn't be able to connect with. Because I'm sure if there were conferences every day or every week that were going on, or even once a month, it would be difficult. I wouldn't be connected with Gary or Irina. I wouldn't have the opportunity, because I just wouldn't be there physically. I can be there virtually. So VCTV laying that out is a benefit to entrepreneurs, and it's a benefit to other investors. And if I can say this, just in closing, just a message for entrepreneurs: when you're speaking to anyone on this panel, any VC, any PE firm, anyone that you're looking to go build a relationship with, build a relationship. Don't send someone a message and say, "Hey, I'm looking for this to raise this amount of money, do you want to get involved? Okay, that becomes very, for me, I get standoffish because I don't know you and you're
Right.
throwing something at me. You have to build a relationship. You build a relationship, then trust comes, and things happen. Okay, but I want to thank you and LA Token and everyone that makes all this stuff happen, because you say I'm on this often. I am on this often because I have a lot to say, first of all. Okay, but also I like sharing this knowledge, information, just as Gary and Irina do, because I think that's our responsibility, our obligation. You learn, you have to share the knowledge, and I thank you for making this happen.
Thank you, Luis. You made me emotional now after Reena. I was about to go offline, but no. Thank you so much for those words. It's like a family. I agree. I mean, I come every day. I talk to new people. I talk to the same people, and the people that I've already spoken to, we connect so well. It's just that I know them from a long time. So if I miss one day, I've told my team, Carol and my colleague, that please make sure we don't miss a single day. I don't know if I miss a single day of hosting VCTV, I feel something is incomplete. Something is not going right in my life. That's how I connected. That's how I'm connected to this VCTV, is only because of you people, because I regularly meet Reena, Luis, you, and many other people that I'm connected to. There's a little bonding there. There's a little family there. Now I look forward to meet my family every day. That's the whole point. And besides, we are exchanging information, we're sharing information, we're networking. That brings in trust. Startups, founders, it's very important for an investor to have a trust before they can invest in you. This is very important. And this VCTV gives the platform where you can have trust with your investors that you're looking forward to get investments from. So that's the whole point. And the speakers and investors have summarized it so beautifully. I don't have to say any further. Thank you so much for that. That brings us to the end of the show. So for founders and speakers who are looking to meet these people, these investors who are actually looking to invest into founders, into companies like yourself, please go to www.latoken.com/profiles. Luis, Gary, Irina are all featured on our website. You can always contact my team, Carol and Maria, and they're going to find a session to pitch to these investors. And investors who like to share their ideas, donate their ideas, and network with other like-minded investors, feel free to reach out to Carol and Maria again. Thank you so much. And we cover different topics every day. Today was on impact, sustainable investments. Tomorrow we're back on a different topic. So yes, we like to keep this dynamic, diverse, and you all coming back all over again. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate that. And have a great day, all of you, because you're just starting your day over there. Bye.